No.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regular public meeting of September the 12th, 2016. We will proceed with the opening comments. Dear colleague, let's have serenity to accept what we can't change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, confirmation of quorum, conflict of interest. Is there any conflict of interest to be declared tonight? None. No form were filled, so let's proceed with the adoption of the agenda. Just to mention a few changes on the agenda item 10.1, master plan down adoption has been withdrawn, removed from the agenda, or will be removed, and add 10.6.1, purchase of land. 10.6.1. Would someone move the adoption as amended? Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question, all those in favor to adopt the agenda as amended, please say yeah. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. The agenda has been adopted as amended. 7. Presentation, inquiries, and petitions. 7.1. Inquiries by council members to the Kodiak Regional RCMP. And we have a Sergeant Como with us tonight. Is there any questions to be asked of Sergeant Como? So, we're not to be blamed for the traffic on Champlain. Neither are we. Talk to our neighbors about that one. So, thank you for your presence here tonight, Sergeant. Public hearing on the rezoning project. PID 70622-683 and 7062212. Dieppe Boulevard Extension, a new school, 7.2. Mr. Frederick, good evening. Good evening, Your Worship. Therefore, tonight, as you know, we are in the process of rezoning two series of properties tonight, pursuant to Section 68 on the Planning Act. We have both public hearing. We'll start with the first one. And for the school project, description of the proposed projects, the regulation, and the presentation of the project. If you have any comments or objections for both requests from tonight, you can ask them for both cases. Both cases, the developer is with us. If you should have any questions to ask of him, if I can't answer them, they will. First of all, we had a public hearing on August the 10th. Tonight is the public hearing, and on the agenda tonight, there is a regulation from the PAC, and the next step will be on September the 26th, where the council will proceed with accepting or not the projects. So, as I said, the property of one property is the province of New-Brunswick. The applicant is the city of Dieppe, as I will explain later on. We want to make sure to have the same terminology for the other schools inside the the city, have the same zoning and the same everything. I'll show you the map. As you know, it's at the south of Melanson Road, besides the Boulevard, with the extension at the north of LeBlanc Road and at the border of the city. Therefore, as explained, the purpose is to make sure the rezoning is representative with the other schools in the municipality, and we have a set that shows what the school will look like and the design, the footprints of the school in question. Now, as for the present regulations, the map of the affectation of the soil, we are asking to go through a property to a community soil. As for the zoning, we go from a rural zoning to an institution zone. Therefore,
Tout pour la.
that's all for the first request, the first application. The next step to study the readings will be on September the 26th. Do you have any comments or questions? Comments or questions from the councillors? Once, twice, 3 times. Next. So the next one is the land around the school is for residential development, but the possibility of a commercial development around the on audience August the 10th there was a presentation, and then we had the council the advice from the PAC, and on September 26th will be the reading. The identification, the land identification, the applicant is the Fox Land Development Inc. and also the owner. The PID are 706-22667, 7062-2675, 0092-4688, and 0092-4316. The localization of the land, it goes around the land that we saw for the new school. The purpose, the proposal to change the zoning is for a residential mix zoning, and as I said earlier, a commercial zoning on the land identified in red as a mix. The present regulation, the proposed regulation are as follows. We ask to amend the soil from property to commercial for the red piece, commercial to residential for the small rectangle at the top, and also a modification from property to residential for the rest of it. As for the zoning map, there is a modification from residential to R3, a modification of rural zone to R3, which is a residential to medium density, and modification to RA, to a mixed commercial zone for the land along the Dieppe Boulevard in beige, orange beige. Therefore, the procedure, as I explained earlier, the next step will be on September the 26th, where the council will undertake the reading according to your wish. If you have any comments or questions, I'll answer them, and with the presence of the developers with us, the developers of that question. Councillor Leblanc, you have a question. Thank you, Your Worship. The only concern that I've shared in the past is that I have quite a bit of concern to vote for a rezoning of R3 on the properties around the school. I see that more that we should have a R1, R2 at a maximum. R3 concerns me around the school. I think that R3 is quite high for residences around the school. It's an opinion. We have R3 everywhere. Along Malenfant, among others. I don't think we've had problems with, I know Malenfant. Is there R3? Yeah, the whole complex, the metropolitan village. A good example, maybe the Valmont, developed in a single dwelling, and the zoning was R3, so it would be possible to have a higher density, but the developer decided to go with R1. Here, same thing with the developer. He has a vision. Of course, there's different sectors that are prioritized for low and medium density and even high density. And also, it's good to consider the kind of development and the distance of the projects with other infrastructure to have a medium density, even high density. For financial reason, it is wished. It was wished for the staff, the planning staff, but for the developer to make his project profitable. We try to keep a certain conformity, nevertheless. It's a transition that will be made. I don't know if Your Worship, if you want to allow the developer to speak, but I think that following the public presentation, the question that you asked, we had another discussion with the developer, and I think that it is understood that for to make his development profitable and to sell some lots in that area, the developer knows that the kind of topology, the kind of density that he will have to offer to make the investment profitable or viable. Mr. Gova, if you would come forward. Do you have any comments? Yes, good evening, Your Worship, members of council. A major reason why we're asking R3 is to allow some flexibility. I'm not sure why you're not at ease, but you're afraid that we will build big buildings. We have a hard time to rent them here, so it's not a place to place some high-rise developments. The vision for High Fox land development is to have single dwelling, maybe a few duplex, town housing, something good. But it gives us the flexibility. In the past, we've already zoned things, but in the last year, and all of a sudden, you have a project that is almost, and all of a sudden, we have to rezone again. It's just a matter of doing things twice. We have no intentions of apartment building. I can't see any developer with 30 years experience like me would think of doing something like that. If you put 20 houses in an apartment block, there's no way of selling it is to have single dwelling houses as much as possible, and we'll have 64 acres. It's a project that will last 10 or 10 years, not more than 10. Sometimes the market changes. It would be possible to follow the wave, but I can see that the wave would change to build huge apartment buildings. And I have other properties down here. I would build it here rather than build it over there. It's just a matter of giving us the freedom, the flexibility of doing it. A project that would be a good fit. So R3 gives you a flexibility of a row houses. If we wanted to build some on the other side of the school, let's say some townhouses, we could do it. It's not something that that would be bad, and for the city would give more viability, more profitability. I saw R3 for single dwelling, and then all of a sudden to have apartment buildings. It's not a good fit. I don't think it's a place to have apartment blocks at all. Well, that's what I was saying. Okay. Thank you. Other questions? Well, Mr. Gova is at the phone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Is there any further questions on the projects, on the rezoning, on both rezoning, the first and the second? Well, they're interrelated, more or less. Fine. Thank you for the presentation. Item number 8. Question by members of the public. Is there someone in the audience that would have questions for members of the council? Nothing. Item number 9, adoption of minutes. The regular council meeting held on August the 8th. Would someone move? Moved by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Leblanc. Did we accept the minutes of August the 8th? On the question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. The minutes of August the 8th is adopted. Item 10.2, Finance, Mr. Melanson. Thank you, Your Worship. You have before you a resolution following the announcement that was made August last. Within the infrastructure, we adopted a resolution for an application, funding application to the province. This requires a change. You have before you all the elements that give the accounts, transportation, water, and storage. With the reading, it will reflect the amount, the account, and the municipal contribution. Thank you. Would someone read the resolution? Mr. Nolan. Thank you, Your Worship. That council amends as follows the resolution adopted June the 13th, 2016, entitled Funding Application, Clean Water and Waste Fund, Dieppe Industrial Park. In the first paragraph, the amount of $685,000 and $1,020,000 are replaced with the amounts $443,000 and $1,477,000 respectively, and percentage 42.9% is replaced with the percentage 44.4%. In the second paragraph, the amount $1,705,000 is replaced with the amount of $1,920,000. And the portion of the resolution relating to the details of the financing for the project is replaced with the following general capital budget. Project Transportation Services Infrastructure, Aviation Avenue Phase 2, $3,327,919. Source of funds, Clean Water and Waste Water Fund, $495,787. Regional Development Corporation or other government agency, $1,355,132. Capital Borrowing General, $1,477,000 for a total $3,327,919. Water and Sewer Capital Budget Project Environment Health Services, Water and Sewer Infrastructure, Aviation Avenue Phase 2, $1,770,121. Source of funds, Clean Water and Wastewater Funds, $1,327,121. Capital Borrowing General, $443,000 for a total of $1,770,121. In the third paragraph, the amount of $1,705,000 is replaced with $1,920,000. I so move. Moved by Councilor Nolan, seconded by Councilor Arsenault. On the question. No questions, so all those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.3, Engineering Service. Mr. Melanson, so as it was planned in the action for 2016, we look for the future. With our so remain, we have for future study for the airport east of the city and all the needs. We have a pre-designed study plan so remain east of airport that is recommended Crandall Engineering Limited for $92,166 following a tender process. 4 firms were assessed and this one was recommended by the engineering department from an evaluation committee. It's for approval by the council. For the reading, Councillor Leblanc, please. Thank you, Your Worship. That council authorizes Crandall Engineering Limited to undertake the engineering services for the project entitled Pre-Design Study Sewer Main East of Airport at the cost of $92,166 plus HST, and also authorizes that this expenditure be defrayed from account 4-3-95-58-7710 Water and Sewer Capital Budget Pre-Design Study East of Airport. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. The resolution is adopted. 10.4. We received tonight the two projects. More details. These are recommendations from the advisory committee, the PAC, recommendation of PAC. Their recommendation is positive. It's for the approval by the council for the two following ones. For the reading, Councillor Alla. The council accepts the recommendation made on August 17, 2016 by the Planning Advisory Committee relating to an amendment to the future land use map, municipal development plan, zoning map, zoning bylaw relating to the properties identified under PID 70622-683 and 70622212, situated along the Dieppe Boulevard extension in order to permit the development of a new school. I so move. Moved by Councillor Alla, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. The resolution is carried, is adopted. The second one, second resolution, recommendation of PAC concerning Foxland. Mr. Allen, please. The council accepts the recommendation made on August 17, 2016 by the Planning Advisory Committee relating to an amendment to the future land use map, municipal development plan, and the zoning map zoning bylaw relating to the properties identified under PID 70622-667, 70622-675, 00924688, and 00924316, situated east of Dieppe Boulevard, in order to permit the development of mixed residential housing and future commercial projects on a portion of the site situated along the Dieppe Boulevard. I so move. Moved by Councillor Alla, seconded by Councillor Nolan. On the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. As presented, next item, 10.4.3, financial participation. A project from the AFMNB. The New-Brunswick French Municipality Association want to undertake a study component, a green highway with electric road with the municipal fleet. Within a pilot project, they are asking the support of the municipalities that are members of the association. They ask to be a partner for $950 for the reading. Mr. Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. That council agrees to participate in the SOVE AFMNB project study component to a maximum of $950 paid to AFMNB pursuant to the conditions established in the contract that will be concluded for this purpose, and also authorizes that this expenditures be defrayed from account number 1-2-52-12-2836, General Operating Budget Sustainable Development Plan. I so move, Your Worship. It's 3-6. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier on the question. All those in favor say aye. Against, nay. Resolution is carried unanimously. Item 10.5.1 Transaqua. We must name a representative on the board of directors of the Transaqua Greater Moncton Wastewater. We recommend to appoint Mylène Roy as representative for the city for a period and to replace Julie Thériault, Madame Julie Thériault. To read the resolution, Mrs. Arsenault. That council appoints Ms. Mylène Roy on the board of directors of Transaqua Greater Moncton Wastewater Commission for a term ending September the 1st, 2018. So move. Moved by Councillor Arsenault, seconded by Councillor Nolan. On the question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Resolution is carried. I want to thank publicly Mrs. Thériault, who for the last 2 years represented us well on that board of directors. She did an excellent job, and we wish her good luck in her career of engineer. Next item, 10.6.1, purchase, land purchase. Mr. Munalsa, here we have an opportunity to acquire a property to deal with a situation, an adjacent situation. So we have been able to acquire a property and for an amount of $72,500 plus HST professional expenses. It's for approval. For the reading of that resolution, please. Mr. Reda. Council authorized the purchase authorized under PID 70291273 and 0076437 located at 106 Emmanuel Street at a cost of $72,500 plus HST and professional fees pursuant to the condition in the purchase agreement in the date of August the 23rd, 2016. And authorize further that these expenses be taken from account number 7-1-20-12-8950 in a reserve of public utility. I so move. Moved by Councillor Ayala, seconded by Councillor Cormier on the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, carried. That's presented. Item 11, Municipal Bylaws, Bylaw S-12, 2016. The outside fires for the first reading by title only. Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Worship. Bylaw number S-12, 2016. Bylaw respecting outside fires. I move first reading. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Leblanc. On the question, all those in favor of accepting it, first reading, by title only, say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. So, Bylaw S-12, 2016 has been adopted first reading. We'll proceed with second reading by title only. Once again, Mr. Cormier. Bylaw number S-12, 2016, bylaw respecting outside fires. I so move second reading. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Cormier and Councillor Leblanc. Those in favor of this motion say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Therefore, carried. Bylaw S-12, 2016 has been adopted. Second reading. Notice of motion. We received no notice of motion, inquiries, and announcement by members of council. We'll begin with Councillor Leblanc, please. Wait till I open your mic, please. Thank you, Worship. I have nothing to say tonight, so you didn't have to open my mic. Councillor Cormier, let's try again. Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to wish a good school year to all the students, professors, and all those who work in the education system. I also represented the city of Dieppe at a discussion meeting for the innovation in, I'm looking for the word, the economic development that was organized by the MP for our riding, Mrs. Jeanette Petitpas. Good ideas came out. Those are my 2 cents for tonight. Thank you. I have to underline that I learned from Councillor Cormier this week that when the schools open and the students return to school, the retired teachers celebrate the non-return to school. I found it good. Councillor Nolan. Thank you, Your Worship. A few questions. Of course, with the changes that happened during the summer, a position has been posted, the position of fire chief. I have questions concerning the document of the job description. In the translation, there seems to be some difference because since we're a French municipality, the French version is probably take precedence, experience, 10 years of experience as a fireman and 5 year experience in a role of management. In English, it says so it says that we need 10 years experience, including 5 years in English, but in French it's 10 years experience as a fireman and 5 years if it's something that could be clarified in the job description. If you find something else, you can come to the office to let me know. In the certification in French, it says emergency medical care assistant. There is a designation of paramedic in Ontario. That is the training of 1 year more than emergency medical responder. So let's make sure that both are the same. Thank you. That's it. Thank you, Mrs. Councillor Arsenault. Thank you, Your Worship. First of all, I hope that everyone had a good summer and a good return to school for all the teachers and students. I can tell you that I had fun on August 15. I also enjoyed the kite festival. As for the Tatamar, it has to be visible, it has to be noisy and short. Otherwise, people have a hard time to walk, especially the young children can't walk. Next year, please have it on the website, that it be available, and that it be not too long, please. The other thing is I attended the unveiling of the name of the airport, International Romeo LeBlanc International Airport, Greater Moncton. I found that excellent and very proud that Romeo LeBlanc was recognized. One more announcement is the federal infrastructure that was made at the City Hall with Jeanette Petitpas, Dominique Leblanc, Brian Gala, with the $176 million for the infrastructure in our province. That was welcome. I was very proud of it. One other thing that I said this summer is the inauguration of the Encore shop by the Nazaret's sister, Rita Barrio, was there. I hadn't seen her in a long time, and Monseigneur Valérie Viennot was there also. That's very well. So it was pleasant to see them. On September the 1st, Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor had a meeting for Canada Post at Sainte Fatima in Review. That was a meeting that was pleasant and down to earth. As always, we appreciate Jeanette Petitpas. On September the 6th, I went to the Greater Moncton Chamber of Commerce for the Honorable Roger Malantret was the guest speaker. It was pleasant. He's excellent as a presenter. He spoke to us of the economic growth plan And then there was the launching of United Way Centraide, and the goal for 2017 is $2,500,000. That's a very nice figure to reach. The other thing that is not the least, September the 9th, I went to Place l'Assomption in Moncton for fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. It's now used as a diagnostic term in our region. Alcohol has a big impact, and a lot of people have been affected. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I just want to mention that, as always, the Dieppe Municipal Council represents well the community in different events in the region of the Greater Dieppe. And thank you for all those who also accept to do it. Thank you, Mr. Sassono. Councillor Ala, Your Worship, we represent our city in a very proud way in August. I represented the city at the raising of the flag for the Pride Week. And it's an organization that did very well. We saw some very good events. So congratulations to the organizers of Pride Week. I also participated to the AGM. You appointed me the board of directors of the Dieppe Arts Center, a small jewel that we have in our city. If I may, I'd like to talk about it. The Dieppe Culture and Arts Center, the initiative of the City of Moncton, transformation, renovation of a former City Hall in 27, a building of 1,000,000 some odd square feet, remains the property of the city, as managed by a non-profit organization that is called the Centre des Arts et Culture de Dieppe. Jean Fala is our president. The ACD opened its door in 2010. The only artistic and cultural building in the city of Moncton is a building to bring the people together and to promote the young and to the creativity and participation in the cultural and artistic. So these are will have overcome an important point and a lot of positive in its development. And from now on, it will be able to exploit its full potential. The team solidified itself with a clear plan of action for the next 2 years. So it's really a big environment that contributes to the vitality of the community, and I certainly want to thank you for having asked me to sit on the committee. It's an exciting committee. Look at that as good ideas. And finally, I think that for the Arts Center and the Cultural Center, they have a good team and a good plan coming up. If I may, I would like to congratulate Soccer Dieppe. 2 teams of under 12. There was a good article in the Nouvelle, the dream don't lack, and the 2 under 12 and the girls became the champion of New-Brunswick at the provincial level, and the boys found their bronze medal. Congratulations to both of them. Congratulations to Ali Chesson. Ali is the new general, the SCNB. Ali is a good colleague of mine, and I welcome him to New Brunswick. He's a Newfoundlander that came back to New Brunswick. Congratulations to Ali. Thank you, Mr. Ella. So Good Dieppe is an organization that we all have at heart for different reasons. Want to share their dream. I was happy to see the comment your daughter was talking about making pressure on the provincial and federal government to realize what we all want to realize in due time. We'll see what it gives, but it's always interesting to see our organization really apply pressure at the right place. In Dieppe, we are ready. We were ready, but it fell through. Bit delayed. We'll see what happens in years to come. So that's all for tonight. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And Municipal Council comes back to its regular schedule the second and fourth Thursday of the month, with an information meeting on the third, the middle meeting next week for the information session, where no decisions are made, but a lot of information to share. Thank you and good evening.